Taurus, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for late August 2026. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we can dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Taurus collective. Hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for the beautiful Taurus collective in late August 2026 as we move from Leo season into Virgo season? Your fellow Earth sign. But yeah, let's see what energies, messages, insights we could take a little peek at. And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card, then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Taurus in late August. What's the vibe? What's the energy? Let's get this card out nice and quick. We're going to have some fun today, my friends. It's always a pleasure to read for the Taurus collective. All right, cool. So this is a future focused type of energy, and it might seem like there's not much going on in this card, but I believe that's an illusion of sorts because what's to come is the most important thing. And I really do like the vibe of it. It's usually super calming to me. Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the August subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, you know I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk more in depth about this card. So as you can see, we have this lovely lady in that beautiful dark blue dress walking along the beach. The water looks a little choppy, like there may have been a storm. The sun is starting to shine. We have these different things up in the sky with rainbows coming out of them. Now, to me, when I see someone looking off at the horizon, that's a pretty clear-cut piece of symbolism where I'm looking ahead. I'm not looking at right now. I'm not looking what's behind me. I'm facing forward. And I believe in spirituality, yes, we are taught to live in the present. I think that's super important. But sometimes we should look to the future. Doesn't mean we have to look 20 years down the line. Like, even if it's like, all right, well, what am I going to do and accomplish in the next month, next 6 months, maybe next year? By this time next year, where do I want to be? So for some Tauruses, this could be advice from spirit. And when I see these things in the sky, to me, they're like checkpoints, check marks, where it's like goal number one, goal number two, goal number three. So that could be really good. Now, the sun is coming out and it seems like the storm is subsiding. I always think that's good symbolism too, where we see calm, we see improvement. And I was getting this soothing type of energy, like, you know, how sometimes there's those meditative, like, waterfalls that you could have at your house where it's like water running over the rocks. And I don't know, there's just something about that that's showing up for some reason. It's just super soothing. But we're just going to leave it at that, my friends. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that juicy, intuitive stuff. Shuffle it up one time here for my Taurus friends. And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. Yeah, it wasn't so zen like the thing I was just describing, right? The energy was super intense. The reading was titled An Explosive Talk. Now, explosive doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing. Like, sometimes it could just be intensity. Sometimes it could be like a hot and heavy back and forth, or a talk that starts slow and intensifies. But yeah, it can also be aggressive. So hopefully you didn't have any rough ones. But just know that energy could bleed over for a couple weeks. But we're going to see what shows up this week. You know, as you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone, so only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards for my beautiful Taurus friends. Okay, 3 wands to the future. So, like, you see how this person is looking to the future as well? Like, they're both doing the exact same thing with the 3 of wands. I like the 3 of wands, which is pretty nice. To me, there's a sense of anticipation whenever I see the 3 of wands, which I think it's good. Let's get a couple more here. What else do we have for Taurus? That's wild. Okay, temperance, chill. There's the soothing energy that we were talking about, like the calm, zen, running water. Like, oh, that's nice. I have my little space where I can unwind. Let's get one more. I don't know why I keep getting that imagery of like the water going over the rocks and the trickling. Okay, we have the 3 of swords. I have to keep an eye. We do have the repeating 3s here. Okay, especially in the main part of the reading. Fire air combination once again, But let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes, then we'll get into the juicy intuitive stuff. But at first look, first glance, you know me, I always love to look at the elements. I feel like it really lays a foundation for us. And we have two main ones this week. We have fire right here on the front, and we got a little bit of air. Now, you know, if you've watched my readings before, like when it comes to the fire air, that can be very intense, just like we were seeing last week. So there is this little balance that I'm picking up between like super intense, super calm, super intense, super calm. Now, when it comes to fire, that is the realm of action. So whether it's the actions you take, the actions you want to take, the actions other people take, all that can be in play. Think of it as a high vibrational frequency that wants to be on the move. It wants to go. It wants to do this and that. Fire is big when it comes to vitality, health, and wellness. So hopefully your energy is on the upswing when we have a lot of fire. That's usually a pretty nice thing. The downside to the fire is the volatility, right? Since fire is so intense, it's and always wants to move, it's hard to contain, right? So there is that volatility, that explosive quality to it. Then here on the back end, we have air, which feeds the fire. So the intensity is still in the mix, but air is totally different. Where like fire is the action, air is the thought behind it. Air is the intention. When I look at the air elements, I think of perception, information, thought processes, strategies, right? It's like super cerebral, and usually it's smart and intelligent. Um, but information exchange is the big thing when it comes to the air. So that's why it's the suit of communication, whether I'm giving information, receiving information, searching for information, all of that's in play. The downside to the air is that it can overthink. There could be a little stress or anxiety. Sometimes it could also be cold. And then I just have to mention, I know it's not element, but we have the repeating threes, and we're going to go into that deeper. When I get like repeating numerology, we got three cards, and two of the three cards are threes. The number three is super important for some reason, but let's go through and start building this out piece by piece. Position number one, we got the Three of Wands, and we see our pal here, very similar energy to the Oracle we had. He is looking off at the horizon, watching those boats come in. So again, for some of you, it may be a future-focused outlook, where it's like, okay, I'm looking ahead to this, I'm looking ahead to that, I'm planning this and that. This energy can be in a wait and see type of pattern. Maybe there's something you're waiting on, something you're being patient about, especially with temperance right next to it. So again, maybe there's someone you're connected to that's in this wait and see mode as well. I like it because it's a card of manifestation. It's a card of creation. There's a magnetism where I'm pulling something to me. I'm not chasing, I'm allowing. That's a big thing with the Three of Wands. It can also be distance and travel. There's a lot of nuance to this card. Now, what might be the downside of the Three of Wands? It could be an energy that gets stuck, right? It could be an energy that feels like it's wasting its time. It could be an energy that just feels stuck in a rut. I mean, if you're just taking it easy, taking it slow, and relaxing like that Zen energy I picked up, then this isn't a bad thing by any means. But there is also this intense, anticipation that I'm picking up, where it's like, ooh, I feel something coming in. Where is it? What's it going to be? In the center, we have Temperance, Archangel Michael, beautiful stuff. And, I love Temperance because of the spiritual protection aspect with Michael, the defender. Great. Now, for some of you, maybe you have Sagittarius placements. Maybe you're connected to Sagittarius. That could be the case. Now, temperance to me isn't just about patience. Yes, it can be about patience, but the main thing to me is it's an energy that's curbing things. So whether there's a habit that I'm trying to curb, there's a behavior, a thought process that I'm trying to erase from my mind, right? Temperance is like I'm taking care of things that don't serve me, right? And I do like it for the patient aspect as well. It's really good. But another thing with temperance, remember, it is fire. It could be something that looks very inconspicuous on the surface, but something is building underneath, right? Notice what Michael's doing. He's doing alchemy right there. So it looks like not much is happening, but underneath the surface, the energy's swirling and moving. And then, especially with all this anticipation I'm picking up, really want to see what the clarifiers are here. Now, moving to the very back end, this might be the one we need to look out for. We have our second three. We have the Three of Swords. Now, I'm sure many of you, even if you don't read cards, have seen this a million times, right? It's very iconic. The three swords cutting through the heart. And I always say this card is on a spectrum. Now, just to mention the fact that we have the repeating threes in numerology, especially in the tarot deck. I'm not going to say all numerology because three is a very powerful divine number. But in the context of tarot, it represents groups, right? Where like ones are singular, twos are partnerships, threes are groups, and it feels a little peoply. So there could be an emphasis on the circle around you, the people you're connected to, the energetic give and take with the people around you as well. So whether that's family, coworkers, friends, you name it. Three is all about social circles. But the Three of Swords is a pain point. It's a pressure point, right? And on the low end of the spectrum, it could be a little gloomy. On the low end of the spectrum, yeah, it might just be a little nervousness or anxiety. But on the big end of the spectrum, this could be things like a broken heart, feelings of betrayal, really upset, really anxious. So I'm not saying that's definitely the case, especially since it's right next to this Archangel Michael. But I want to see if there's going to be any flare ups because, like, the energy does seem chill for now. But with all this elemental mixture happening, I feel like this is just the surface, but what's going on underneath? So I want to dive deeper on all of it, Taurus. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here, my friends. And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot because, as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on the Three of Wands. And yeah, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Taurus, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, why is that Three of Wands here? Why is the Three of Wands here? That is super unique. Okay, maybe this is the right move. And I say this sometimes that, at certain points, the best action is no action. And that's kind of what I'm picking up here with the Two of Swords. The cards are even trying to jump around for me a little bit. Now, the Two of Swords is a card of confusion. It's a card of mystery in its most classical form. But to me, it's the hidden, the unknown, secretive. Again, remember I was saying, like, on the top, it may seem like nothing's going on, but under the surface, there might be something building. So I still want to explore that as we move forward. But once again, fire air combination is still very much in play. But the Two of Swords is the unknown, the unexpected, not really doing much. And in its shadow form, it could feel stuck and not be making a move. So when I see the Three of Wands with the Two of Swords, it's like, yeah, I need more information. I'm going to wait and see. Or I'm not going to do anything just yet. I'm going to see how this plays out. There's like something like that going on. So for some Tauruses, this might be advice from Spirit where it's like, okay, well, the time for action might be coming soon. But maybe for now, gather information. I don't know why it's coming through so specific that way. And, I connect with a lot of you Tauruses in personal readings. That does seem to be the Taurus way for a lot of you, where it's like, okay, I need to gather information and before I make a move here. And that's kind of how this feels like, information gathering, whether it's you or somebody else. And that's why I was also saying sometimes the best action is no action. To me, it's like you might need more information, more context. Um, let's keep going. I mean, I don't know why this energy is gathering so much information. For some of you, maybe you're just chilling, right? Maybe you're just in your own lane doing your own thing. Very possible. There is this energy around gathering information. So let's see what Temperance has. So why is Temperance here for Taurus? Good. Something returning. Okay. I don't dislike it. So we do have the Death card in reverse underneath Temperance. I will say this for a lot of Tauruses, regardless of what you're going through, or even if you're not going through much, there is this beautiful bubble of spiritual insulation around you. When I see Michael with Death in reverse, it's like, all right, we got your back. We're watching over you. You're not alone. Like, there's that nice divine protection here. But Death to me represents change and the close of a cycle, right? Change and a close of a cycle. And it doesn't always have to be worst case scenario, but it is change that, there's nothing we can do about it. So when I see a card that could potentially be an ending in reverse, it's like, let's play it again. Let's replay this. Let's redo this. So with all this energy on the top where it's like not much seems to be going on, not much seems to be happening. Remember, I did say that I feel like there's this energy that could flare up in this time. So whether it's a situation, whether it's revisiting a habit, or whether it's going to a place you haven't been for a long time, whether it's a person coming back around, there is this energy of an unexpected or surprising return of something. It's just here, especially with Death in reverse. Now, I don't dislike it. Sometimes it's best to leave the past in the past, and we have been seeing this energy of looking to the future. But I don't think for all of you this is necessarily a bad thing. If anything, for some of you, this could be very healing. So again, whether it's a situation where spirit's going to throw it at you again a different way, or whether it's a person, it's like a surprising or unexpected return. We're going to keep moving. I don't dislike it. I don't dislike it, but I would still treat it with a little bit of caution, especially with like this need more information type of loadout we're getting in the front. But let's go in on the Three of Swords, and we'll do a quick recap before we get into the shadow. Okay. Yeah, if it's, I don't know. This energy is just peculiar. So we have the Hanged Man in reverse underneath the Three of Swords, and this energy seems like it could force it too much. And I'm a big believer in flow. I'm a big believer in divine timing. I'm a big believer in taking inspired action. But when I see the Hanged Man in reverse underneath the Three of Swords, it's like I'm forcing myself to do something that I don't want to do. Which again, sometimes in life you gotta, right? Like I get it. Sometimes in life there's stuff you don't really want to do or deal with, but it's like, oh, but I gotta do it. If that's the case, cool. It is what it is. Watch out for other people bringing more drama into your experience, especially with like the threes and all this other stuff. Keep the circle tight in this time. Not saying don't be social at all. Not saying don't make new friends or date or anything like that. But it's like just be very cautious about who you mix your energy with. That's how it's showing up. Now the Hanged Man is this energy that we have here in the front end. It's sitting. It's observing. It's watching. It's taking in information. It's not acting just yet. So it's that beautiful prototypical energy we have here up front. But when he shows up in reverse underneath the Three of Swords, it's like I'm forcing my hand, or someone is forcing my hand, or I'm forced to do this action that I'm not pleased about dealing with. Right? So that's the big pressure point here. But definitely watch out for things like reemerging or flaring up in this time too. And for some of you, that's good, right? Maybe this is something you have wanted to revisit, this energy in the center. Maybe if it is something that's not the most pleasant, maybe you have different tactics on how to deal with it. But I think being in this hanged man mode is actually the mode to be in, where it's like, hey, just gather more information. Don't force it. Don't do anything yet. Don't make a move just yet. Allow the energy to flow, right? Don't force, flow. Let's go through and do a quick recap, then we'll get into the shadow. So, a lot of complexities and nuance this week. It's all good, though, right? Life is like that sometimes. But if you kind of look in the box, position number one, we got the Three of Wands, Two of Swords, very similar to the Hanged Man in the upright, where to me it's like I'm gathering information, I'm watching, I'm observing, not doing anything yet. Sometimes the best action is no action. And this energy attracts, this energy pulls things in. It doesn't go chasing or searching. It just allows energy to materialize. In the center, we do have Temperance with Death in reverse. Love this for the protective qualities from spirit, whether it's your guide, spirit team, ancestors, loved ones. There's like this beautiful circle, extra circle of protection around the Taurus collective in this time. But there could be a lot of things popping back up surprisingly or returning. So situations or even people where it's like, okay, here it comes again. Let's replay it. Moving to the back end, we have the Three of Swords, Hanged Man in reverse. And this feels like something I really don't want to do, or it feels like something I really don't want to deal with. And it's like I'm forcing myself to do it. Now, again, if it's something you have to do, have to square away or take care of, you do what you got to do, my friends. I know Tauruses have a lot of determination and staying power. That's something I appreciate about you. But if you can avoid it, that might be best. Where it's like, all right, just be in the hanged man mode a little bit longer before you make any proactive moves. So please take a screenshot if you want to look into that further. Let's see what's in the shadows. And yeah, I always like to pull a shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge, they could be a good thing. So let's get you one. And yeah, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel. I have much love for all my channel members. All right, let's get this going. What do we have? Thank you. The Emperor. This is all about control. Some readers also link the Emperor to Taurus. I give it to Aries usually. But the Emperor represents the divine masculine, the King of Kings. It's an energy of calling the shots, making moves, like lining things up before putting them into action. It's very entrepreneurial. Now, again, this could represent patriarchal figures. It could represent authority figures like bosses and, managers and stuff like that. But we don't just have to pigeonhole the Emperor there. This could easily be an energy you're stepping into where it's like, I call the shots. I call the play. What I say goes, right? And I think that can be good for some of you. But one thing I would watch out for is anyone that might be a bit of a micromanager, or someone that tries to tell you what you can or can't do, or what you have to do and how you have to do it, because that is the shadow side of the emperor, where the forcing, right? Just like I was seeing on the back end, the emperor forces somebody to do something. So hopefully this isn't a thing or a situation that you're forced to deal with, but maybe it's you just stepping into this energy. So, Taurus, that's what I got for you this week, my friends. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details of the August subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight on your situation, or you'd like to have a chat with me, you can book a personal session with me on my website, mastermetaphysics.com. The August calendar is up and spots go quick, so you might want to check that out. But for the August subscriber surprise, we're doing another winner's choice. I will choose 3 winners at random to either choose the Dreams of Gaia Tarot, which is an absolutely stunning deck, or one of the custom made crystal pendants from my website, mastermetaphysics.com. So if you'd like to get your name in for that, it's 2 simple things, as always, my friends. First, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, out of all the cards that showed up in your reading today, which one intrigued you the most? Which one caught your attention and why? And you put that in the comments, you'll be entered to win. And at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab / post tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.